Volkswagen Think Blue Championship 2013. Getting started.
Before starting, I would like to introduce the whole team of the driving experience, the trainers that will be like the most important person for you during the next days. This is Andreas from Volkswagen Driving Experience, Martin, your chief coach, and we have Kai, Karin, Annette, Hubertus, and Sasha. Yes, they will help you with every question about the car, about the driving, about the routing. So we hope they bring us and you safe to Frankfurt and yes, lead us through the next 3 days. So thanks to you. I think we'll see you later. Before we start, I would like to give you a short introduction about the Think Blue World Championship and about Think Blue in general. Why does Volkswagen in general Think Blue? I think every one of you has had some experience with Think Blue in your national challenges, but I would like to give you a short recap on this. And I will tell you some words about Think Blue, about projects that we have been done and that are being done around the world. And I will tell you something about the event you are all here for, the Think Blue World Championship. So why does Volkswagen in general Think Blue? For us, sustainable mobility today is one of the questions we have to answer. And when we look at the Volkswagen strategy, our CEO, Professor Dr. Martin Winterkorn, said by 2018 we want to be the world's leading volume auto brand, but both economically and ecologically. And as one of the world's biggest car makers, we have to face the question how to be sustainable mobility, or how sustainable mobility can be achieved. So being economically, ecologically efficient is somehow anchored in our brand. And what is Think Blue? What has Think Blue to do with that? When you look at our cars, and I think you will experience one of the most efficient ones, the Golf TDI promotion that you will drive the next days. This is for sure one proof for us in terms of being more efficient, and the car has a consumption. Martin will tell you something more about it. It has an average consumption of 3.2 liters, which is way better than the previous Golf TDI promotion. But this is just one part. With Think Blue, we said we have an attitude at Volkswagen that contains more than just our efficient products and solutions. So for example, in the Think Blue factory, which is for sure for an automaker one of the biggest parts of emissions, we have set a program within Think Blue factory that is being rolled out worldwide, and we will have concrete targets of reducing our emissions by 25% till 2018. So this is one part. Our fuel efficient products are the other part, and you will have the chance to drive them the next days. But it contains more for us because you are all here for one reason, and this is to drive as fuel efficient as possible. And this is one of the biggest triggers when you look at CO2 emissions in a car life cycle. Does anyone have a guess how much percent of emissions are caused while driving? Any guesses? 20, 30, 40?
30%?
30? It is a bit more, it's over 70% that's caused during the life cycle while driving. And when you look at this is one of the biggest triggers we have to drive as fuel efficient as possible. And what do you think, by how much percent can you reduce the average consumption with the right driving? 5, 10?
25%.
I heard it from back there?
25%.
Up to 25%, this is right. And the good thing about it, and I hope you all will prove that within the next days, you don't have to be slower. Martin and Andreas, they always prove from our fuel efficient eco trainings, people are more efficient and actually they are faster as well in most cases. So this is what we are looking for you to achieve during the next days. And this is one main part of our second pillar within Think Blue, the ecologically related behavior. But this also contains our initiatives of being more efficient in the car and in everyday life. And last but not least, in our third pillar, corporations with nature, with ecological cooperations and initiatives. So this is what makes something do as attitude for Volkswagen in total. But how does that look like? I mean, the Think Blue World Championship is one of the projects, but let's have a look how some other look like globally. So let's have a look at the short movie. this was just a short glimpse. By today there exist more than 400 projects, and as you have seen, some are smaller, some are bigger, but all have one in common, and this is our main goal. We want to involve people. We want to involve them as you are involved here with the Think Good World Championship. And by this year we're doing the championship for the third time, and as I already told you, it's the combination of the car and the driver. And you are the most fuel efficient drivers that are already here from your countries. And with the right car and the right driving style, where Martin will tell you something about, and on the route, we will see who's going to be the most fuel efficient within the next days. We're happy to welcome you participants and our journalists from 19 countries today, with one goal, being as fuel efficient as possible. What's ahead of you? And know that some of you already asked yesterday, and you're quite eager to know where the routing will be and what you're going to experience within the next days. So really a short glimpse on the program. We'll start today with a training day. We know that some of you really had a longer travel, so we hope you all arrived in Germany. No one is jet lagged so far. All right. Nevertheless, today is a training day. It's to get to know the car and to get your right driving style. So from tomorrow on, we will measure the results. So take today, take it easy. It's your training day. Tomorrow we will start from Volkswagen to Weimar. And on Monday we will have the second big stage from Weimar to Frankfurt. But this is really just a short glimpse, and all the details Martin will tell you now. So last word from my side, enjoy your stay, enjoy the journey. Be sure that you travel safe, and be sure that you travel efficient. And we see us all later today. So yeah, have a good trip.
I think for you more important is the torque level and the range where this torque is available. torque is available from 1,500 to 3,000 revs per minute, and the torque level is 250 newton-meters. Yeah, that's the torque. The consumption of the car, and because different countries have different ways to pronounce it, I try to put all the numbers in that may be helpful for you. In Europe, the measuring is a new European driving cycle. That's the NEDC. There we have 3.2 kiloliters, 3.2 liters on 100 kilometers. This is calculated 73.5 miles per gallon for the US team. Where are you boys? Where's the American team? US team is there? Okay. Last year with the hybrid we made 49.9. Yeah, so this car is much more efficient. Then we have another calculating is, for example, in Mexico, I know that you do kilometers per liter. Yeah, so this is 31.2 kilometers per liter. Then we have a comparison, the numbers that you usually use. Yeah? And the CO2 emission is 85 grams per kilometer. The cars have a 6-speed manual transmission. This is also the reason why I want to give you the trade today, because I know that there is some markets who usually don't offer manual transmission cars. Yeah, and we want to give you the opportunity to get used to the clutch, and we hope that you make it with one clutch to Frankfurt. All right, some technical details. The CD level of the car is 0.27, so the car is quite wind or air efficient. The chassis is lowered by 15 millimeters, so we have also some kind of a sports suspension inside. You will feel this when you drive. Compared to the standard Golf, which is already more light than the former versions, this car has additional weight reduction of 49 or 50 kilos. We have a start-stop system in the car. We'll come to this in a few seconds. And we have special tires on the car which are extremely low rolling resistant. So quite nice rolling tires on the car. The car is equipped with a start-stop system. And to give you an idea what's behind the start-stop system, I have a little video explaining how the system works. Okay?
Start-stop technology, available across the range. And they still save money on fuel.
Okay, who of you has kids in this age? Nobody? All right? Yeah, okay. So start-stop for this job is not the first solution. Okay. But for that, what we do is very, very helpful. So just a short introduction for those of you who are not used to drive manual transmission cars combined with the start-stop system. The system works quite easy. To get the start-stop system working, you have to do nothing. There is no button you have to switch or anything. It's working when the car has usual temperature, then it starts to work. It's not working when the engine is cold. And when you come to a full stop and you release the clutch without gear, then the engine is switched off. And to restart the engine, you just press the clutch again, then the car restarts again. So the stop and start function is managed just by the clutch pedal. Yeah? So to get the system working, take off the gear, go in neutral, release the clutch when you come to a full stop. And when you want to restart again, for example at the traffic light and it gets green again, directly when you press the clutch, the engine comes up again, you put in first gear and you can take off. Yeah? That's the idea how the system works. It's a little bit different, like with ESG cars, for example, where you just have to come to a stop and then it switches off when you release the brake and start again. Yeah? So here it's a clutch which is working with start and stop function. But one important point already now is this one. The key to start the engine is usually only used twice on every stage. Only twice. Once in the beginning when we start, and once in the end when you come to a stop. So switching on the engine by the key while you're driving will disqualify you directly. Okay? Because it's extremely dangerous. You have no power steering in this situation. You have no brake support. That's why switching off the engine is completely forbidden while you drive. The car will switch off automatically when you come to a full stop. That's the start-stop system. But the key is just for start in the beginning and shut down in the end. And that's all. Alright? Yeah? Good. What else do we have? We have a multifunctional display. And now we come a little bit to the equipment in the car that you are able to use during the drive. We have a multifunctional display with eco tips. To be honest, if you need these tips today, then it's too late. Yeah. These tips are more for normal drivers. There are some of these, for example, you have the air conditioner running and you open the window. Yeah, then the system gives you 2 minutes and then it tells you, think about, is air conditioned and open the window, a good idea? Yeah. Or if you, for example, we have the shift guidance. Yeah, they have small arrows showing you going from 3 to 4 to 4 to 5. And if you all the time step above it, yeah, so it goes from 3 to 6 or something, after 2 minutes it comes, okay, follow the advice of shifting up. Yeah, so then the car gets really nervy in the end. Yeah. But I think you will not need it. We have electronic parking brake. Anybody of you has not tried an electronic parking brake? Okay. So it's general, always when we drive, our seat belt is buckled. Okay? When the seat belt is buckled, the electronic parking brake is working almost automatically. So when you put in gear, you release the clutch and you go, it's opening automatically. If you want to open it by hand, there where the normal handbrake is, there is a very small lever with P on it. If you pull it up, you lock the handbrake, and if you press it down, you open the handbrake. But to open the handbrake, your foot has to be on the brake pedal. Okay? And then there is a second button behind it saying auto hold. Okay? The auto hold function is a permanent brake, a permanent automatic brake. Always when the car comes to a full stop, auto hold blocks the car. But when you press the clutch and release and press the throttle, auto hold opens up again. So for example, if you want to start up at a steep hill, yeah, you can use the auto hold function because you only have to release the clutch and the car is moving automatically. Yeah, you don't need any brake. Yeah? So it might be an option to use the auto hold function because we have manual transmission cars and the car is not rolling backwards in certain situations. Today it's almost flat when we drive because we are more in the north. I promise you during the next days you will see many hills. Yeah. So that's about the functions in the car that may not be common to your car right now. On every stage when we drive, there's some jobs that has to be done. Most of these jobs will be done by your team hostess or your team host. But you all should know which is the duties that have to be done before the start or right after the finish, because this is also according to the regulations and has effects on the result. Okay? The general setting, the air condition should be at 21 degrees Celsius and switched on. We drive with activated air conditioning. Quite easy explanation. Why do we do this? First of all, modern air conditioning systems don't need so much fuel. Like older air conditioning systems, you use up to more than a liter. Second, air conditioning is also some kind of a safety feature because it keeps you concentrated. When it's getting too hot in the car, your concentration is going down earlier. That's why we recommend you. And for the championship, we really have this as a rule that the air conditioner is running, set on 21 degrees. We have two cars, I think, or one car in the competition. We have a manual air conditioner. There, the air conditioning setting is set to medium, which is also 21 degrees, so the mid setting. Yeah. And all air cons are running. Then we have the huge display in the middle, where usually the navigation system is. And the new Golf also offers the board computer information on this display. So we decided, because we have two cars who have no navigation system from the factory, that we decided we use this display as a permanent presentation of your average consumption and your driving data. So there you see on one screen average consumption, average speed, and the driving time. Okay? This is a permanent setting for this screen. And then we have an additional one, which is the MFD, the multi-function display between odometer and RPM meter. There we put the actual consumption. Then we have a permanent overview about both ranges, what do I use with my pressing of the pedal, and what is the result on average consumption when I drive. So you have both numbers in play all the time, which I think is the most fair way for everybody. Today is the training stage. So what we do today is, today we reset both board computers. You have a long-term board computer and you have a board computer from start. So today at the start point, which is right in front of the hotel, we reset both for the training stage. And if you, as drivers, want to reset during the training stage to see how results change when you change your driving style, you can do this with the from start board computer. The long-term board computer keeps like it is, so we have a result at the end of the day. We have like to see some numbers. But the from start board computer, so it's a board computer 1 actually, and board computer 2. 2 is long-term, 1 is from start. The from start can be resetted as often as you like during the training stage, and the long term keeps running during the whole day. Alright? Yeah. I think everybody has the same chance to try how his driving style fits to the car. Okay? At the start of the stage, you reset the odometer, which is very, very important. You need the odometer for your road books. You all have the iPads as a team. We'll come to this in a few seconds. And on your iPad is your road book. And the road book is set up with mileage. And if you don't reset the odometer, I promise you, you have a nice calculation job during the whole stage. Because from crossing to crossing, you have to recalculate by that. Okay? So reset please the odometer. You reset the computer 1 from start. Today we reset both. Yeah? And the team hosts will give you some route guidance at the start of each stage. Not today, today it's a road book. Yeah, but from tomorrow on, because in the beginning sometimes the navigation wants to give you a different direction that we planned for this route. Yeah, but it's usually only during the first 1 or 2 minutes, which is quite easy. have? When you pass the finish line of the stage, there will be like a beach flag saying finish. You pass the line, go to the side that other cars can pass through, it's usually on a parking spot. And then you please stop the car and switch off the engine to store the numbers. And at this point, your team hostess, your team host will fill in the stage result sheet, where we take the numbers for every stage. Yeah, that's why it's important to stop at this time. Yeah, that we get pure numbers, clear numbers that you achieve during this stage, not while you're driving. Yeah. So this is actually the second time you use the key on every stage. Yeah, as we said before, that's the second time. While we drive today, if you see signs, if you have a traffic situation which is unclear from your perspective, please ask your team host and team hostesses. And I promise you already today, but especially from tomorrow on, especially this sign here will be very important for you, because this is showing the direction of the major road. And always this road, which is the more fat bar or the fat line, is the road that has the right to go. Yeah? So that's the major road. And when we go from city to city over country roads, you have many roads which are regulated like this. They have a sign like this which tells you that you are on the road that has the right to go. And this sign tells you also if this road is going to the right or to the left, and if there's other roads crossing in. In Europe, the sign is quite usual, but I know that in other parts of the world you don't have the sign. That's why I really want to ask you to look at these signs, and your team host and hostess will show you how to work on these signs. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the signs which are quite unusual, perhaps. And you have the road book. Just try today and have a look at it, especially the co-drivers. Your job is also to control the navigation, that they get used to the ideas and the information inside the road books. If there is anything going wrong, there is an emergency number down there, a hotline number, which actually is my phone number, so if there is anything going wrong, you will reach me. If there is any accident, like also your hosts and hostesses know this is the official number of police or fire department. It's 110 or 112. If there is any accident, any hazard, people are injured, then you need these numbers. It's already on the first 2 pages in your road. Okay. The route is set up in 8 stages. Stage number 1 is the training stage today. Stage number 2, tomorrow morning, is a transfer stage to a special place tomorrow. We'll go to a very secret place tomorrow. So tomorrow when we leave the hotel, first we go to the factory. And after the factory, your team host or hostess will ask you for all phones, cameras, iPads, whatever you have to make pictures with. Because we will collect them, put them into an envelope. I will not tell you where we go, but it's a place where pictures are not allowed. Yeah, so that you know this already. The press colleagues will go to this place too, but through a very certain place where you can take some equipment. Yeah, but for the others, for the teams, you will enter this place in a different way, and that's why we have to take care of all your camera equipment. So at this moment, for this 2 hours, you will have no camera with you. Yeah, no phones, nothing. Yeah, and after this second place tomorrow, the championship stages starts. Yeah, so at tomorrow noon, we have the stages 3 to 8, and this will be the championship stage. And we were asked, because we have some markets who send not only the winner, but also the second place of their championship, how it is with the drivers and co-drivers. What we decided yesterday is that every team is allowed to change the driver on 2 stages. The last stage tomorrow and the first stage on Monday. On these 2 stages, it is allowed to let the co-driver drive if he has a driving license. Yeah, and if you think that you as a team get a better result, for example, if you change. So it's allowed to do it, it's not needed to do it. Okay, it's not a must, but you can if you like. Alright? The last stage tomorrow, the first stage on Monday will be the 2 stages where the co-drivers can drive. It's not a need. Yeah, it's your decision in the team if you would like to change the drivers for these 2 stages. I will give no recommendation, you will set them all up. That's a decision that you have to do in your team. Okay? Alright, the major navigation on the championship. And now we come to the routing, and from the routing we later on also come to the rules which are connected to the routing. The routing is done by an external navigation system. You all have the same Garmin navigation system in the car. You all have the same routes in the car, and the navigation system will be set up by your hostess or host. They will start the routing for every stage. We have set the navigation system, we have tried to set the navigation system to your own languages, if they were available. Okay? Some of the languages were only available in words, but not in speech. If they were not available in speech, we set them to English, and the words still in your country. If we have, where are the colleagues from China? Okay, if we have chosen the wrong spelling for China, you can reset it, because there were 2 options. Yeah. And I think we chose the right one for Japan, I'm quite sure. Yeah. We also, where is the Dubai team? The Dubai team is there. We changed it to English, okay, not to Arabian. Alright. Russian is inside, I think. Yes, we had. For Malaysia, we said English. And where is Hong Kong? Team Hong Kong? No Hong Kong? This is Hong Kong? Okay, so for Hong Kong we also said in English. If you like, you can adjust it to Chinese. Yeah? You can try it later on. Okay. Alright. The navigation is done with the so-called POIs. So we have marked our personal route, which we have set up from the championship. And all the stages are set up as a separate tour, so that you have a route from stage to stage in the navigation system. The co-drivers will support you with the iPads, which include. And now we'll ask the co-drivers to take their iPads. Okay, and on your iPad there should be a function called iBook on the top. Yeah, perfect. And in this iBook, in the library, in mine is some more because it's my private one, but you also have this one. Yeah. And then the screen changes.
Sí, no. Bueno, desenchufa. No problem.
And perhaps you don't see this picture. Do you have this picture?
Yes.
Yes, everybody?
Is it, excuse me,
No?
is it strictly necessary because our iPad has no battery?
Your iPad has low battery.
No battery.
Also can.
Oh, okay. Then have a look at your colleague there. Yeah. It's just for the introduction now. Okay. basic menu. If you make it small, you get back to the basic menu. If you go completely to the left, or you press here completely to the left, the first 2 pages is the overview on the traffic rules and the additional information. That's the first 2 pages. And then you should have stage 1. Stage 1 is Berlin to Wolfsburg. Okay? Stage 1, Berlin to Wolfsburg. Everybody has this? Okay? Yeah? Alright. So, from the start, which is right in front of the hotel, you see your jobs. At 0.0, that's the starting point. It is, we set the odometer at the hotel, and then it starts straight ahead. So we just go down the road, down the 17th June. No, sorry, that's the other. And here on the left side, you see the mileage where the next maneuver is coming up. So the first direction change is at 0.4 kilometers. Yeah? It's kilometer. The car has a kilometer odometer. Yeah? The odometer is only kilometer. That's why this is also kilometer. Yeah? So this is 0.4 kilometers. And we also take pictures of the place where you have to turn. And down here, you always see the name of the street or the direction that you're going to. Okay? And today, your host or hostess will start the navigation system at the start. And due to the traffic situation, your navigation system will send you to the left perhaps, or will tell you that your road ahead is blocked. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. For the first 4.4 kilometers, okay? You follow the road book, like it's described here, up to the point which is 4.4 kilometers. And 4.4 is quite easy to detect. It's when you drive onto the White Star, how it's called in Berlin. Yeah, there is this huge pillar with the golden lady on top. The Berlins call it gold. How do we count, or how is the setup of the route? We have just 2 criteria. Criteria 1 is the average consumption in every stage. So at the end of the challenge, we will have results from stage 3 to 8. And if we have 2 teams having the same consumption, and the consumption is measured by the MFD. If we have 2 teams having the exactly same consumption at the end of the challenge, then also the time comes in play. And we calculate a so-called net driving time. That's why your host or hostess also has a stopwatch with you in the car. What they do is, they stop the time that your car is coming to a full standstill. If you come to a full standstill, they start to count the time. If you start rolling again, they stop counting. And this through the whole stage. And at the end of the stage, we take the driving time by the MFD and subtract your standing time. So by this, we get a fair net driving time for every team. Yeah? That's the second level evaluation. The first level is the average consumption. The second one is the net driving time. Yeah? And the winner that is the one with the lowest consumption. If we have 2 with the same consumption, it's the lowest consumption and the shortest driving time. Okay. Speed? Yeah. Speed comes right now. Yeah. So there's some rules for driving. First of all, switching off, as I told you, by the key is strictly forbidden. Second, driving in the slipstream of another car is only allowed inside the German traffic regulations. Who knows about the German slipstream traffic regulation? Okay, tell us.
Al rebufo.
Right.
Rebufo.
Right. Your odometer speed divided by 2. So if you go 100, your distance to the car in front of you has to be 15 meters. Now it's quite difficult on the highway to roll out a 50-meter band to check if the distance is right or not while you drive. Yes? So what you can do is, on every highway, on the right side you have white pillars. These white pillars with some reflecting lights at night always have a distance of 50 meters. So if you go 100, you should not be in one pillar pair. If you're in one pair, you're close. Yeah? So that's the information about slipstreaming. And then it's not allowed to drive, and this is very important because during the last 2 years, we already have some experience about tries to be most efficient. We want to be famous for efficient driving, but we don't want to be famous for traffic blocking. Okay? Efficient must not be boring, must not be slow. Clever efficiency is using the same speed like before, don't lose time, but with a much lower consumption. That's the idea behind it. So the regulation is quite easy. Inside the city, according to the traffic situation, you're allowed to go 10 kilometers more or 10 kilometers less than the allowed speed limit. If there is a speed limit of 50, your speed range is 40 to 60. In the cities, you might have speeds of 32. There is a speed of 30. Yeah? So there you can go from 20 to 40. That's the range that we have. Outside the city, outside the city is always there when you have passed a yellow sign where the name of the city is on it, there is a stripe through it. Your host will show you where is the place when I leave the city. And this is also the place where you see signs, for example, where it says 70, 80, or for example 100. Outside the city, you're allowed also to go 10 kilometers faster, but we allow you there to go 20 kilometers slower. So when it says 100, you're allowed to go 110 or 80. In this range, you can drive. Yeah? So that's the limitation in speed that we give you. For sure, when there's a tractor in front of you going 25, you don't have to kick him. Yeah? When you can't overtake it. That's the traffic situation where you have cars down.
Are these speed regulations a German law or a Volkswagen policy?
These speed regulations are in, I call it payable German law. Payable German law. Yeah? So German law says, actually, the regulation is, just under us, I didn't tell you this, okay? Forget this right afterwards. If you go 20 too fast, or 90 too fast, you only pay money. If you go 21 too fast, you get points. We have been, no, Netherlands didn't arrive, so I can tell us, if you get 80 points, you get a yellow license plate, that means you come from Netherlands. Okay? No. So if you get 80 points, you lose your license. If you have 40 points, you have to go to additional education, and you get a letter from the government. Yeah? And the rates get more higher. So 10 is okay. Nobody will charge you for 10 kilometers. And if you go 20 too low, actually the rule says if you go sufficiently too low and block other people, this might also be a violation of traffic rules. Yeah? But the speed level is a recommendation. If you go below the allowed speed, everything is fine. But if you, for example, are on a country road and you go 80 where there is 100, and the line behind you is already 50 cars, yeah? Then it should be the place to move out for a second, let them go, and then continue again. In terms of efficiency, think about if this is efficient. Yeah, to stop and then go again. Yeah? All right, but that's the only thing again. Yeah, that's about the speed regulations. We have one more speed that we should speak about. That's a highway. As I told you, we have highways without speed regulation. On these highways, we set that our limit is 120. So when there is no speed limit, no official speed limit, yeah, when there is no official speed limit, we set our limit on 120. So you can go 130 to 110. If you want to go faster, because that's you're trying on a German Autobahn, yeah, you will not be in the winner's rank. That's the other price you have to pay. You have to pay for this. Yeah, and these cars are not set up for high-speed racing, so take it the more efficient way. That's why we set the level to 120. So your speed range on the highway. On the highway, there's also limits on the Autobahn. There's limits of 120. There's other limits of 100. There, when you have a limit of 100, you can go 110 to 80, as I said before. But if there is no limit, and your team host and hostess will show you when there is a limit, there's a sign for unlimitation, yeah? Then you can go between 130 and 110. Okay? Yeah. 100 and 140. Yeah. All right. Now I have one more story. When it's 80. Right? Exactly. Yeah? While we're trying, we have a second job too, and your team host and hostess has this job also. We're some kind of your judges. So if we catch you, we will go in additional cars passing you, looking around. We will hide behind some bushes. Catch you. Yeah? So we'll be around everywhere with 3 cars, as referee cars, and we will check your speeds. And for example, if there is a 100 limitation and we see you driving 60, you know soccer rules, yellow and red cards? Yeah? First you see a yellow card. If you see a red card, for this stage we will offer you an additional use of 0.5 liters. So try to stay in the speed, because if you go sufficiently too slow, you try to grab an advantage that the others don't have and stay in the rules. Yeah? So that's what we have behind here. Yeah? We will declare warnings, yeah, in the beginning before we start to do hard regulations, for sure. Yeah? But we want you to stay with the rules, and everybody has the same chance to get the consumption level that we want to drive. This is also the job of your team host and hostess, to check your speeds. And this is also our job during the day to check that you follow the rules. Yeah? So if you see some cars with people in black jackets inside, it might be the Volkswagen police. Alright. Yeah. If you break those rules, as we spoke about, we will think about an equivalent you put on your consumption, yeah, to adjust this a little bit. Yeah, okay. To make it fair for everybody, we will now in a few seconds start with the first official point, which is the weighting of the teams. So we will call you country by country. You will first grab into our little focal down here and grab your start number. Yeah, so everybody has a chance to grab this start number. Yeah. This is also the number of the car that you get. And then we ask you as a whole team to come up and please have a stand on this scale. Yeah. I will just do it for a second. Okay, it's enough. So when the whole team is on there, you take the numbers, and Karin will write them down on the computer. And tonight in Wolfsburg, we will adjust the weight to the heaviest team. We adjust all the teams to the heaviest team with water ballast in the car. So tomorrow when we start on the championship, every car is filled up 100%. Every car has exactly the same tire pressure, and every car has the same basic weight. Okay? So, we take the weight from today, all right? We have a dinner tonight. Think about this. All right. Any questions so far about the regulations, about the car, about the driving that we should clarify before we go out on the training? Yes. 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 Where the balance is? In the trunk. No, we put it in the trunk in our car because we put it. You're not allowed to drink it. It's water balance. You get additional water to drink. It's all in the trunk because we will put this water bottles, this water bottles, and we will put them in packaging that they don't fall around in the trunk and they are fixed. Your luggage, like today, will be transferred by luggage car. So it's only you, the team host or hostess in the car, and no luggage. If you want to take a handbag or anything else, this is your personal package that we take. We will not scale it. Okay? We scale you as a team. If you want to take additional equipment, this is your personal luggage that we take. Okay?
Sí, porque este chico yo miré antes de
No. Everybody will have a bag with them. Yeah. This is all right. Any other question? Yeah, sorry. Are you able to put cameras in the cars? Yes and no. Can we speak about this after the briefing? Yeah, can we do this on the press separately? Yeah. Is there any team that don't want to have a camera inside the car? Okay, then we have this track too. You don't want to have a camera inside? Okay. You don't. All right. So, any other questions? Yes.
Is the cruise control something?
Cruise control is not available in this car. And to be honest, cruise control is never available. That's her job. She knows it. Yeah. That's what she's doing in the car at the start and also at the end. Yeah. It's always done by the team host or team host. Kannst du mal den Beamer ausmachen, bitte? The question was who is sitting on the co-driver's seat. Our recommendation, because it's needed to set the navigation system, it's needed to set the board computer and everything, is, especially in the beginning, it should be the hostess sitting on the co-driver's seat. And there's another point, from the rear right seat in the car, you have a better view through the odometer as the guy on the road to see where the mileage is, to support the driver in the navigation. That's why we recommend you, especially for today, to have the co-driver, your key partner, on the right seat in the rear, and the hostess in the front. Yes. The question was if there is a tire punch or any breakdown of the car. As I told you, we have 3 cars going with you together. One car will be driven by Karim and by Sasha. The other car will be driven by Hagen and Annette. And the third car will be driven by Andreas and me. And Hagen and Annette always will be the last car car breakdown, you stop the car at this place, your team host or hostess takes the numbers at this place. We adjust the car, we change the car to one of ours, we reset the systems, and then you start from there again with the new car. Yeah. That's also why we don't have luggage. We will not need it, but in case of it. Alright? In case you miss the route, it's no problem. Yeah, you just turn around and continue on the route, please. At the end of the stage, we know how long the stages are. The minimum distance that you need to drive is the length of the stage. If you have more kilometers, it's not a mistake. Yeah, and not today, but from tomorrow on, we will set the navigation system to a so-called dynamic navigation. For sure, there's a routing in the road book, which we recommend you to follow. But when we are on the highway, and because of this accident, the highway is fully blocked for the next 10 hours, we don't want you to wait 10 hours in front of the traffic. Yeah. So then we use the dynamic navigation, we skip the route which is in the road book, and you just follow the navigation system. But please don't do this today in front of the hotel. Yeah? You will do a nice drive to the city. This morning, one thing counts, that's the road book, nothing else. Yeah? This morning, only the road book. Up to kilometer 4.4. Okay? Alright. Other questions? Sorry, can we listen to the questions together? Because I think you need them all. Yes.
Fan speed also has to be 70?
Fans, no, it's on automatic. Yeah, and then fan speed is 5. The question was if there is adjustment for the fan speed. For those cars who have the digital air condition, you just press on auto, and the others go on 2. Yeah, the fan level is 2, then everything is fine. Can you ask her? It's much easier. Okay, we would like to start with the skating because the first team should be driving in 25 minutes, which is quite a challenge. So the first team that would like to see on the scale. Yeah. 2. For all of them. Excellent. No. There is no doubt. Okay, the first team that I would like to have up here is Argentina.